Hey everybody, Carl Elwine here. An update with the 82 Vet with the LT1 engine. I neatened up the wiring. I figured out the blower fan motor for heating air conditioning. It doesn't have the heater hoses hooked up yet. I'm going to do that later today, but the fan works. I neatened up the wiring. This is not the original wiring bundle, and I did as well as I could. If you see down there, I gave, on an earlier video, I mentioned that I took one good high quality wire straight down to the starter solenoid. Instead of factory has 3, and then it's fused right there, a small fuse box. And that's it in a nutshell. The constant power goes into the interior. The other post is for a few other things, like for the fan circuit that came with the car, that turned the simple relays that turn the fans on, and also then the other power supply for this side goes to the fan, the high-speed fan relay that I put together myself. I didn't use the stock one. So that's all done, and the last thing is to put heater hoses in, and hopefully the heater core is not leaking. So I got hoses. I'm going to tee it off. The return will tee off to the expansion tank that I put in previously. So like for the fan interior, basically, you know, this was not working one bit. The fuse was not blown. So nothing was getting out there to that system. It turned out in here the AC connector was not connected. That has to be connected. So we got low speed going, mid speed, high mid, and high. Low is always on. So that has been done. Heater lines go in, and heater lines go in, and then this car will be delivered. I'll work on the AC if the owner and I get a little plan together, and if he's in agreement. It would be a good learning to try to interface the air conditioner into this. All right, this is my final product on neatening up, and as much as I could, the wiring bundle that was here, which was a heater fan, the blower, the AC wire, all loose. I was not able to get the stock high-speed blower motor relay to work, so I have a TE connectivity high-quality one right here. I got a new blower motor resistor, and that's wired independent. It blends into the fan power here. And then everything else is neatened up. And in a nutshell, the one thing I did was took all those independent stock wires that are power for the car that go to the starter solenoid. I brought one wire up here, and it's fused, a 40 amp and a 40 amp. 3 here go into the interior. Then one here is for other things. Like this one here is for the blower, high-speed blower motor. And all this stuff is high quality fiberglass heat resistant loom. I try to do as much as possible. It's not easy. The labeling probably isn't going to last, but it's good for now. I don't have clear heat shrink to cover labeling. So this is done. Yeah. Hey, C3 Corvette guys, 82, C3, and a few others. If you want to get to the HVAC switches or in the defroster, you don't have to take the center console apart. You just got to take one screw apart, and then this gives you access underneath. So I've been probing around right here, this fuse in the fuse panel. It's It's a 20 amp. It does have 12 volts, and it's brown. It goes to the AC 3 pin brown. There's 12 volts there, but when this is unplugged, then apparently the fan switch, they call it the heater control blower switch, doesn't get any power. I don't know how it does that, but I was probing here for power for the fan switch, and there was nothing. But once you plug it in, it feeds itself over, apparently, and then there's power. So then it ought to be, this orange ought to be going out here to the relay resistor bank. So who knows? We'll see. All right, guess what? I got voltage here, like I should have. Check this out. Low, can you hear it? Medium, well, second, now third, now high. Had to swap fans. This fan is taller, bigger, so it wouldn't fit. So I had to swap squirrel cages. A radiator fan motor, you know, when you have ground hooked up, the power supply here ought to have a ground tone, and then you give it 12 volts, and it works. All right, I integrated an expansion tank into a heater hose lines for this LT1 and a C3 Corvette. See that line right there? That's the return, it's the low pressure. And the expansion tank tees into it, and it's really, you know, 2 heater lines. The discharge right there at the water pump, the return right there, and the expansion tank. And trust me, the hood closes with a little bit to spare. This is in need of an expansion tank because of having the stock radiator and a kind of a hose that kind of dips down. The pump was having trouble pumping up into the higher part of the radiator. Very hard to vent it, but with the expansion tank, it vents perfectly and no air pockets. Going to do my final test drive. Got the TV cable set up as good as I can. It has to extend all the way out to here in order to be the proper setup. So this is best I could do for a nice stable. But I got the wires over there loomed and labeled. I have an expansion tank and I have the heater lines hooked up. Now I'm just going to do a final test drive. Well, I'm test driving it. I got the fan on high. Make sure the blower doesn't overheat. Heater on cold, because I don't want to burn myself up. Just going to warm it up and then try a few full throttles and be done with it. Put it up on the rack after I do that and see how things are. See if the coolant system vented good. See if there's any leaks. You can hear the fan on high. Oh, neighbor. Got nice neighbors. They're having a party, it looks like. See, the transmission held first gear for a nice amount of time. Then it does second and third quickly, and then right into fourth once you get to about 40 miles an hour. So I'm gonna pause and then wait till the car warms up and record some more. Well, cruising at 65 to get her warmed up. It's a noisy cruise. Got a couple Corvettes. Here comes C6. He's passing his buddy up there. Okay, coolant temps at 177. So I'm ready to, when I get off the road at a safe spot, give it full throttle and see if there's on the data log, see if there's spark knock and just how it performed. I'm always listening for the knock, but I do believe that there's maybe some false knock going on, and that can be tuned out, but I prefer not to. Just a light throttle here. See, it goes in the torque converter clutch lock, and that's in the transmission. It's not electronically controlled. Right before the school here, I'm going to kick it down and see what it does. See, it kicks down. Before it didn't. Getting close to our spot. It's a 50-mile-an-hour speed limit right here. And I'll slow down a little bit. I'll slow down and see if I can pull second gear. Okay, here we go. Okay, I think. Transmission goes into, I don't know, low gear before you'd like it to. Torque converter clutch. Yeah, it stays locked for a little while. It'd be nice to have an electronic, the last pull, I wanted to see if it did any spark knock or anything. Running good, smells good, doesn't smell like oil getting out of headers or anything, as in from the valve covers. Okay, I'm doing the final inspection on the LT1 in a C3 Corvette. The final inspection. I just did a road test on it. I just basically didn't push record, so I've already done it, but I have to redo it to get this on video. But made sure I checked the new heater hose lines that I put in, and those are not leaking. Underneath where the heater lines are, up at the water pump there, not leaking. Way up there, you might be able to see the expansion tank. So, anyway, heat wrap. Oh, I just wanted to show you if I didn't before. This I installed to reject the heat from the pipes, the header pipes and exhaust for the driver's compartment and the passenger compartment. It wasn't as hard to install as I thought it would be, because there's a lot of room under the car here. And then header wrap. And got the fans guaranteed to run all the time. There's a view of the front of the LT1. On the C3, there's a lot of room. Compared to a C4, you know, the front damper there and OptiSpark access, there's plenty. So, that'll be it for this car. Carl L1 Engines. Take care.